It's like the news, but for nerds. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. Nerdvengers, it is Josh, and this is your Nerdy News Rundown for Monday, May 24th, 2021. A slower news day today. Most of the news cycle dominated by the Eternals trailer. And we're going to talk all about that trailer and the different ways in which fans are responding to the trailer online. But before we get too far down the Eternals rabbit hole, we just wanted to make mention of the fact that there will seemingly be a lot of SpiderMan Far From Home info dropped later this week, as there is supposedly a little expose being done up in Entertainment Weekly alongside a Loki preview, which is supposed to come out later this week. And a lot of insiders and scoopers are indicating that we could be inching closer and closer to the SpiderMan No Way Home trailer. So add that to your trailer watch out there on the internet. I'm hoping we get that trailer soon. And again, the question will be for everyone, will they tease out some of the Spider-Men and Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's involvement in the film? Are they going to keep all of that from us as far as they can and just go in a different kind of promotion? Who knows exactly, but them putting out this Eternals trailer here on a Monday, very big deal, gets up a lot of buzz. Some people are saying that No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, could happen next Monday or could even happen later in this week. So just want to let you know that. Keep an eye out on it. Now, earlier today, at a little bit before 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Marvel Studios did release the first official trailer for Marvel's The Eternals, co-written and directed by Chloe Zhao. The trailer is currently #1 on trending, sitting at 6.4 million views with 484,000 smashes of the like button and 6,200 smashes of the dislike button. Now, the trailer mostly serves to show the Eternals cast and explain a little bit of where they stand in the world and what they have been doing for the duration of the Marvel Cinematic Universe thus far. The basic idea is that they don't really interfere. They haven't really interfered with things up until now, but the inciting incident of this film and the things going on in the Marvel Universe indicates that now they will be getting involved in human affairs and revealing themselves to the world. This has been teased in the trailer that was seen behind the scenes at the Comic-Con late 2019 that we never saw, and a lot of the rumors, leaks, and reports about the film. This seems to be the case. They're coming into that crazy ship. They're helping primitive human beings all over the planet, but they are remaining hidden. And despite the trailer explaining this and doing very well, trending #1 on YouTube and getting a lot of love on Twitter, it's not the universal praise you might expect for a Marvel project, and there's a lot of different reasons that fans are seemingly upset or at least slightly underwhelmed by the Eternals trailer. I think the first thing that most fans are talking about is the fact that there's not a lot of action in this trailer. In fact, you really don't get a good sense of any action in the trailer. It's a lot of atmospheric shots, the music building the themes and the feelings of the scene. There's some action, but it really happens quickly and you can't even get a very good look at it. And on top of that, all of the coloring in this trailer does seem to be desaturated. And right before I went to record this, Jack Kirby was trending in the United States. He kind of just busted into the top 10 trending in the United States, and this was because many fans were doing side-by shots of the Eternals trailer and Jack Kirby's very colorful art from the original Eternals comic books. And even for myself, as we were breaking it down in the morning, I was surprised at how many of the Nerdvengers and the folks that were watching us live were not that excited about the Eternals trailer and just thought it to be kind of a meh trailer. And I actually did want to talk about why I think this is happening and why I think the Eternals, despite probably being a cinematic masterpiece, might underwhelm Marvel fans and majorly underperform as compared to its other Marvel counterparts. And I think it's just simply because this movie might be a movie kind of out of time. I mean, let's talk about this. First of all, this movie was not designed to come out years after Endgame. It was supposed to come out the very next year after Endgame, and it would have been a very cool kind of film to experience in the wake of Endgame as we wanted to see what was happening in the MCU moving forward. I also think the film was made at a time and in a place in the world in which representation had been really, well, underrepresented out there in a lot of mass media, but skip 2 years later, and there's been so many pushes for representation all across different kinds of media that in some ways I think some fans are even tired of hearing that word, representation, again. And the focus of a project being around representation is sort of seemingly past the prime time that it would have meant a lot of things to a lot of different people. I guess what I'm saying is 2 years later, it is not as in vogue as it was when this film was being conceived to make representation a large focus of your movie. And you add in the fact that this film might not get into the Chinese marketplace at all because of comments that Chloe Zhao has made. You add in the fact that a couple of the Marvel shows have underwhelmed Marvel fans, and I think you have a recipe for not guaranteed disaster, but certainly the possibility of disaster. Nobody knows who the Eternals are. Even some of the sweatiest Marvel fans that I know of do not actually know much about the Eternals other than their connections to Thanos and some of the other prominent members of Thanos' circle, including his brother Star Fox. The Eternals themselves, which have been race bend and gender bend in a lot of different ways in this lineup, are not a well-known Marvel property at all. And I know the rebuttal from a lot of Marvel fans tends to be, well, that was the case for a lot of the Phase 1 Marvel heroes. They weren't the most popular characters from the comics. Quite the opposite, in fact, as Marvel could not buy back the licenses to their big characters when they formed Marvel Studios. Therefore, they were forced to use less popular characters, and they made a whole universe out of less popular characters. And while I do agree with that sentiment, I would tell you that coming out of the Infinity Saga, moving into whatever saga or phase we are going into now, we are just playing in a different game. I frankly think that people do want more popular characters, and with characters like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four now seemingly around the bend because of the Fox deal being finalized, and a crazy movie like Spider-Man coming out later this year that might well bring in Spider-Men from both prior Sony franchises. It just seems like the entire game and expectations for Marvel fans has kind of changed and accelerated well past the original timetable for when the Eternals was supposed to come out. And the rumor is, ladies and gentlemen, that the Eternals already has a sequel in development and that a lot of these different characters from the Eternals are said to be involved in projects moving forward. And I just am seeing the possibility of Chloe Zhao's Eternals movie actually massively underperforming and not being taken that seriously by even most MCU fans. And honestly, I feel kind of bad for Chloe Zhao and for Kevin Feige. I mean, they designed and created this film almost in a completely different world. And now, 2 years after Endgame, a year plus after when the movie was originally supposed to release, I just feel like the movie might be getting very unlucky. I mean, consider the fact that, again, China may not even accept the movie into their marketplace and might want nothing to do with this franchise or their characters moving forward. You've got on top of that a lot of Marvel fans saying that the trailer underwhelmed them because there's not a lot of action and they have no connection to these characters whatsoever. And you've got the fact that the hype train for Spider-Man 3, Doctor Strange 2, Fantastic Four, incoming X-Men projects is just through the roof. And it might just be a bad timing thing because I am just surprised, ladies and gentlemen, at the reaction that Marvel fans have had to the Eternals trailer. Again, despite it doing big numbers and being pushed out there, the reaction that I am seeing online is not as universally accepting and high praise that I am used to seeing. And so I want to open it up to discussion in the comment section of this video. First of all, did you like the trailer, or where are you at with the trailer? And what do you think about my theory that the Eternals movie could be in trouble and not even necessarily all due to factors of the people at Marvel's making, right? Some of this is out of their control. Nobody could plan for a pandy. Nobody could plan for some of the craziness that has been going on. But I just think when you add in that 2-year gap where Marvel's fans' hype levels and anticipation levels are, the fact that it is definitely not as colorful or poppy as the Jack Kirby art that, you know, some fans of that property are even rejecting it based on the desaturation and the filming that Chloe did. I mean, it's just kind of a lot. So I want to know what you think of all this in the comments section below. Make sure you're checking out our live streaming channel where we will soon be doing 2 streams a day all throughout the week, talking about all kinds of nerdy stuff. You can get your questions answered over there. Just hang out in the chat. It's always a good time over there. And I'm sure we'll be talking about this story and the interesting reaction by Marvel fans to the Eternals trailer in the next couple of live streams. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video.